If by any means you're someone who recently wanted to create a personal brand and like everyone, you went online to do research about what are the right ways of doing so, well, I guess you can relate to this. Most of the content online about personal branding are giving this kind of advices like post consistently, show up every day, post on different platforms, provide a lot of value, and then people will come to you. See, that's not completely wrong, but I still believe that there is a better way of explaining it, because if you take those advices wrong, you will just end up building an audience instead of building a brand. Let me explain to you. When you're focusing on building an audience, what you're gonna get at the end of the day is a big following, but then it should be full of people who don't share the same interests, are not facing the same problems, and are not really people who are interested in buying something from you, because they're not there because they want to solve their problem. They're there because you attracted their attention by posting a trending video. And that's not what you want. What you want is to build a brand. And for that, you have to create a community of people who have the same interests, who are facing some of the same problems, and can look at you as a solution provider to those problems. And that's what I'm going to explain in this video. I'm going to show you exactly how you can go from a random person who has a set of skills to a position where you build a very profitable personal brand around those skills. For you to understand it very well, let's get into this scenario. So Juliet is a sales manager at this mid-sized company. She has been working there for 3 years now, and she's really good at what she's doing. She understands how to build client relationships, she knows how to handle objections, but also she knows how to close deals in a way that doesn't feel like pressure. But then there is this problem she keeps running into at work. She notices that the company's approach to client retention is poor. Like the company is focusing on renewing client subscription without really checking if the products or services sold by the company are really solving the client's problem. And the result is that more and more clients end up leaving the company just 2 to 3 months after working together. And so Juliet starts seeing deals falling apart, deals that were supposed to be easy. And most importantly, she knows the reason why that is happening. And so what she does is she puts together this report, go to the manager and make the case. And then she receives this feedback from the manager. It's too complicated, there is too much process change, it's just not our priority right now. The company is focusing on getting more and more new clients and doesn't focus on retaining the existing ones. So Juliet is pissed at that. But then she can't do anything because that's what has been decided by the big people in the company. And to be honest, in that very situation, the average person will just leave that case and go do what they're supposed to be doing. But that is not Juliet. And so she decides to create a blog where she'll be writing every single week about the best practices of client retention, or what the company should do to strengthen the relationship with the clients. And that is because she found a problem. She knows that this is a very big gap, and she's willing to fill that gap by providing free value online every single week. But then something starts happening. People start noticing her. Not thousands of people, no viral numbers, but sales managers from other companies or business founders who are trying to understand why they keep losing clients just a few months after onboarding. And then slowly by slowly, she starts building this audience of people who are facing that problem and who are looking for someone who can solve it for them. And guess who is that person? Juliet. She knows and understands their problem, and that's why she's writing about it. And so more people start commenting on her blogs. More and more people start DMing her, asking her exactly how she's been able to understand their problem. See, such comments are usually the signal that she's talking about a very painful problem that these people are facing and are ready to pay thousands of dollars to solve. And so she keeps sharing free value, sharing guides, sharing courses, sharing webinars where she's gathering these people and explaining them exactly why they are facing that specific problem. And so the audience starts getting bigger and bigger. More and more people facing the same exact problem start coming in her DMs, in her comments, asking for the same questions over and over and over again. And so Juliet decided to create this low-ticket offer. It's a one-on-one coaching where she will go and work personally with those brands for maybe a week or 2 weeks, helping them to implement the exact solution she's been talking about for months. And then in the first week, she gets her first 2 clients. She goes there, she works with them, they get the results, they start talking about her services online, more and more people start getting interested, and then in less than a month, more and more clients start coming to her and are willing to pay her more money to solve the exact problem. And since she cannot run this business alone, meaning creating content and servicing clients, she hires more people. She gets a sales manager, a content creator, copywriter, a designer, and maybe a couple of freelancers who can help her with the sales process. And so by hiring this team, she gets back a lot of her time, and therefore she can work with more and more clients, create more and more content, and therefore reach more and more people who are facing the same problem. And in less than a year, she has built an audience of 10,000 people. But notice that this is an audience of people who are facing the same problem and are looking desperately for a solution. Meaning, with a small audience of 10,000 people, she's driving in millions and millions of dollars every single month. How? She is solving a problem that she discovered that the other company didn't want to solve, and then she made it her mission to solve that problem for free by providing free value every single week. And then people started noticing her, coming to her, asking her more and more questions. And then she created a business around this, helping more and more people to solve that specific problem. And then more and more people facing the same problem came to her, followed her on a newsletter, on social media, on YouTube, and everything. And so in less than a year, she has built a full working business. Because guess what? The people in her audience are not people who followed her because of a specific trend she followed. They followed her because they knew that she had a solution to their problems. And so by now, I hope that you understand the difference between building an audience and building a brand. Now, I know Juliet is a character I created for you to understand exactly how to build a personal brand. But all the concepts I've just explained so far are not fictional. These are real and practical methods used by some of the biggest names in the industry right now. And to be honest, that's the kind of brand I want to build. I don't want to have a big following of people who don't really understand the value I'm providing. I would rather prefer building a small following of 10, 15, or 20,000 people, as long as I'm convinced that I'm helping real business owners solving real problems they're facing on a daily basis. And by the way, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to help business owners and solo founders scale their businesses by leveraging the power of content creation, storytelling, and personal branding. And so in my case, that is the gap I've noticed, and that's the gap I want to fill with my solutions. Meaning I want to build an audience of business owners, solopreneurs, or business founders who are looking for ways to scale their businesses using social media, personal branding, and storytelling. I don't want to trend, but I want to solve a problem faced by real people. And so if you're that business owner, I want to let you know that I'm building a solution for that. It is called the Trust Engine. So this system is built for business founders who already have a working product or a working service, but are still struggling with sales because their business is maybe not well known online by the right people.